Okay, so I am finally here with my Spider-Man brand new day review. Yes, review. Spoiler review. Yes, this video is going to be a spoiler review for the movie. So if you have not seen Spider-Man Brand New Day, I would say go out and go watch it. I did. It was pretty good in my opinion. You might not like it. I don't know. I don't know. But hopefully you enjoy it just as much as I did. And so yeah, man, going into this video, just straight up, yeah, I did enjoy watching this movie. I did see it in theaters, I think on Saturday. And so it kind of sucks that I wasn't able to put up a review for the movie like sooner, but here we are. I'm doing it now. I'm just straight spoilers because, the movie's been out for like 2 or 3 days, so people are already doing spoiler reviews for this, and so I might as well just do my spoiler review now. And so, yeah, overall, man, I went to the theaters to go watch this on Saturday, bro, and it's actually crazy because Spider-Man is one of my favorite superheroes of all time, and I think this is my first time ever watching a Spider-Man film in theaters, which is insane to think about. Like, I literally this is like one of my favorite fictional characters of all time, and I've never even gone out to see one of his movies in theaters. I mean, looking back at the Tobey Maguire movies, like back then those like came out like when I was like a baby, so I so I technically couldn't go see them, I guess, obviously. And then the Andrew Garfield movies, I'm pretty sure I did not see either of those movies in theaters. And then even with the 3 Tom Holland movies, I can't remember if I saw Homecoming in theaters. I don't think I did. But I think, yeah, this is my first ever time. I didn't even watch No Way Home in theaters, which is insane to think about. But like at that time, COVID was still a thing, and I didn't have the money or a car to go out and watch the movie myself, and so I wasn't able to see that movie on my own. And so coming into present day, obviously I'm a grown man now, so it's not that hard for me to go see movies, just in general, obviously. But yeah, I was able to. This is my first experience watching a Spider-Man movie in theater. Well, actually, no, it's not my first experience because I watched. It's actually insane that I think about it. Because Into the Spider-Verse, I watched that in theaters, and Across the Spider-Verse, I saw that in theaters. So it's actually not my first time seeing a Spider-Man movie in theaters. I actually just lied. But I guess it's my first time watching a live action Spider-Man movie in theaters, and so that was a cool experience. And so just jumping right into like my thoughts on this movie, my general consensus on this movie is that I really enjoyed it. Coming into this movie, obviously, the way that this movie was set up and marketed is that like this was going to be coming back to like basics for Spider-Man, like him with his suit, him, being a depressed, lonely adult who, no matter what, chooses to be Spider-Man, even if Peter's life is, terrible because of it. That is all classic Spider-Man stuff and everything, and him being a friendly neighborhood Spider-Man, and him, interacting with New York City and everything. That is classic Spider-Man stuff, and all that stuff is in this movie. And yeah, just like the suit. Like, if just talking about the suit, like, this is the best probably live action Spider-Man suit ever. I think before this, we all agreed that it was the TASM 2 suit, but I think at this point, bro, it is this suit, bro. Like, it is just like a comic book accurate. It's like the comic book suit brought to life, like, and everything. And he obviously he still has like the moving his eyelids are still move like his his other suits and stuff like that. And so yeah, this is in the web shooters, obviously the bulky web shooters, obviously that's awesome to see and everything. So yeah, the suit, the best live action Spider-Man suit ever, bro. Just talking about the Punisher and Spider-Man together, bro, that junk was so amazing. It's actually funny because when I going into the movie, I knew I knew John Berthal was going to be in a lot of this movie, but for some reason in my mind, and everything, when he first appeared and he was like in his van and everything, and him and Spider-Man were interacting for the first time, and that was like obviously that was awesome to see. When Spider-Man just like obliterated the Punisher's van in like 2 seconds, I was like, oh dang, is like is that all? Is that all we're gonna get from Punisher? And then I remember, yeah, he's in more scenes in like the trailer and everything. We see him fighting with Spider-Man and everything, and so obviously that wasn't going to be the last time that we saw the Punisher. But yeah, I just love their interactions together. It definitely gives like little brother, big brother vibes to where like, the Punisher is also like always trying to tell off Spider-Man, but Spider-Man is always like, bro, you remember that one time that I saved you on what was it, Staten Island and everything, and they start arguing and everything about it. It's so funny. But I definitely love their interactions together. I love seeing, obviously we've seen Spider-Man interact with like other MCU characters, like freaking Iron Man is the main example. Just in this movie, he's interacting with the Hulk, Bruce Banner. He's interacted with like Doctor Strange before, and so it was cool to see him actually interact with a street level, like, like an actual street level like superhero. I guess like the Punisher. The Punisher is so like, whenever we actually do see the Punisher in his own TV show, he is like R-rated to the max and bloody and gory and swearing all the time. And so it's interesting to take a character like that and put him in a movie like this as well. Yeah, but MJ and Ned, they are back in this movie. And I feel like for me personally coming into this movie, my whole thing with like MJ and Ned is that like, especially after the last movie and their memories getting erased and Peter having to live with that decision and everything, we do see like the ramifications of his decision. Like he's like always like, he's super lonely. He's always like checking his phone to like see like posts from like Ned and MJ and like and everything, and like he wants to be around them, he wants to be their friends, but he knows at the end of the day that he can't because he's Spider-Man and everything like that. And so there's a lot of scenes. There's like one scene where like he goes to a party and he wants to be around Ned and MJ, but like there's like a scene where MJ is dating another guy and he gets super like self-conscious about it and like super like sad and everything, and then we just get a scene of him like not even him in the costume, him just like swinging around at nighttime in the rain, and that scene felt very like real and personal and everything. And I just love scenes like that. I love the idea that like to feel an emotional scene, like you just have Spider-Man swinging and you got sad music in the background, and it fits really well, and it works for me personally. And so just the swinging scenes in general I thought were really good. Not on the level, I do think there's a lot of cool swinging shots and just like the freaking fight scenes. We're gonna get into that, but the fight scenes, the choreography, the swinging, all of that is really good. There was never a time where like it reached, in my opinion, levels of like the Amazing Spider-Man 2, like the opening scene of the Amazing Spider-Man 2. The Amazing Spider-Man 2, the swinging opening scene in that movie still holds like my favorite like web slinging in a Spider-Man movie ever still. And this movie has a lot of cool stuff. Like it has there's like some shots where like his the camera is like inside of the mask, and when you like see his eye and everything like that when he's like web slinging and everything, and there's like obviously there's shots of him jumping off tall buildings and him swinging. And so the swinging I thought was really good in this. The fight choreography is really good. The practicality of everything that they were doing I thought was really cool. The fact that they based this off of freaking the Spider-Man games and everything was really it was really cool that I heard that when they were talking about how like they based off like some of the like the fight scenes that they do in this movie from like the Insomniac games where like he's pulling off like triangle and circle like combos and everything and finishers, and so that was like really, that was a cool nod that they I guess decided to do for this movie. The freaking Hulk. We got Savage Hulk in this movie. We were getting Savage Hulk. We saw him in the trailer and everything, but seeing him in this movie, bro, was so good, bro. Seeing Savage Hulk fight Spider-Man, him fighting the Punisher, that scene of Spider-Man and Punisher like teaming up to fight the Hulk, that was really, really good. It was so funny seeing Punisher try to even like remotely take on the Hulk in any sort of like way and fashion, like him like just spraying bullets at the Hulk, but it's like literally doing nothing. And so just seeing the Savage Hulk again, like just seeing basic Hulk in this movie again was really, really cool to see, just in general, even if it was just for like one scene and he was fighting Spider-Man. Just him fighting, or the Hulk fighting Spider-Man, just reminded me of how strong Spider-Man is. Like literally Spider-Man like is fighting the Hulk and he's taking straight up punches from the Hulk, and I'm just sitting there going like, god dang, I forgot how like strong Spider-Man is, like where he can like straight up take like punch to face like hits from like the Hulk and be perfectly fine. And so I thought that was interesting as well. Okay, talking about Sadie Sink's character. Obviously, we've all been it's all been theories and rumors of who she's playing in this movie and everything, and we finally got our answer, and it was the obvious answer. It was Jean Grey. Like we all knew that she was playing Jean Grey. It was just a matter of time until they said it in the movie. So yeah, Jean Grey's in this movie. Sadie Sink is playing Jean Grey in this movie, and I gotta say, like, because initially I thought that Tombstone was gonna be like the main villain in this, and I was completely wrong. He's only in it for 2 seconds, and so that left like, okay, so is it the Hand or is it Sadie Sink's character? And it ended up being Sadie Sink's character. She is, in my opinion, the main villain of this movie. And it's weird because I have heard criticisms that like people feel like there are too many villains in this movie, which I kind of get, but I also disagree with. I mean, yes, you have Scorpion in this movie, and he's only in it for like 2 scenes, and that's because like he's being mind controlled by Jean Grey in this movie, and so that's why like he's fighting Spider-Man in 1 scene in this movie. But other than like, I mean, the beginning montage of him fighting the different villains, I mean, the Hulk, he's not technically a villain. Like Jean Grey was also mind controlling him, so that's why he had the fights. That's why Spider-Man was fighting the Hulk. And I mean the Hand, they're working for damage control, and they're kind of just there, I guess, essentially. But other than that, I don't necessarily. Yes, there are a lot of just villains. There's a lot of villains that show up, like, you know, Scorpion, like the Hand, and everything. But it was never a point where I thought like, oh, like there's too many like main villains. Like, you know what I mean? Like there's side like villains that Peter has to go up against, but like other than that, like I don't really necessarily, this is not the same situation for me like a Spider-Man 3 where like you have essentially like 3 main villains fighting for attention, or like the Amazing Spider-Man 2 where it's like the same situation where you have Electro, Green Goblin, and they're both the main villain in that. And so for me, I disagree with that. I think the stuff that they do with Jean Grey in this is really interesting. She is basically like, she is straight up like a villain. She's like mind controlling people. She's like messing with Peter. There's like one scene where Peter goes to like Peter goes to MJ's apartment because she's in danger, because Jean is threatening to basically kill MJ, and so like Peter takes her to like a different location, and then when they're both alone, there's a scene where, and this actually did surprise me, because I thought they were gonna do the whole thing to where, and they still do this at the end, but it's like way more subtle at the end. But like in this scene, you have MJ and Peter on like this rooftop, and it's like nighttime, and like they're talking to each other, and it comes to a point where like MJ, for some reason, I can't remember specifically how, she starts to remember who Peter is and everything, and like she kisses him. and like I guess from that she remembers like whatever, and then it was in that moment where I was like, oh, they're doing this, like they're like going this route, and I wasn't really a fan of that decision if they were gonna do that, but like I am it was so funny because literally 2 seconds afterwards, and this didn't even pop inside my mind, I should have like thought about it, but like literally 2 seconds afterwards, like after she kisses Peter, she's like, oh, you're so easy to fool. And then you realize it's just Jean Grey pretending to be MJ in that moment. I was like, oh dang, like you really did that to Peter? There's a lot of stuff that freaking Jean Grey does in this movie where it was like, are you even like you're just straight up like a-hole. Like there's like one scene where like she's like mind controlling a dude, like a construction worker and everything, and like she's messing with Peter, and like she's like mind controlling this dude, and so like she backs up into the street and like lets like a car like ram this dude, this construction worker, and I'm just like, Jesus. It's like you need Professor X. Where's Professor X gifted X-Men, whatever the frick it's called, the freaking X Mansion, I don't know. Like you need a mentor, like you need like actual people to like help you out, because you are just straight up like, she's trying to like, she almost kills like MJ at one point. Like she straight up is like, she does not care. Like she straight up like is like a villain in this movie. But you can still like, there's moments where like in this movie where like you can still sympathize with her because she has a sister. And in this movie, damage control is a thing in this movie. And damage control is tied to Jean Grey because in the movie they reveal that, and I didn't even know Jean Grey had a sister, but they reveal in the movie that Jean Grey her sister gets taken by damage control, and so Jean Grey is basically trying to find her sister and everything. And it gets revealed that her sister actually ends up dying because of damage control, and so that's why she's so pissed off at like or I guess that's why she's so like mad at especially the ending, because when she realizes that her sister died and everything. But yeah, I thought this was a cool introduction for Jean Grey in this movie. Obviously she's gonna come back for the new X-Men movie and everything, so that's gonna be cool to see. Obviously in this movie we also have freaking Peter getting freaking organic webbing. That was the thing that they low-key kind of they revealed in the trailer. And I was kind of on the like side of, okay, I'm not against him getting organic webbing, but like, I don't know, I've always been the person, because I know the Tobey Maguire movies he had organic webbing, and that's fine, but like I've always liked my Spider-Mans with the like the actual web shooters, and like he makes them and everything, because it leans into like his scientific, him being a science genius and like everything, and or a math genius or like whatever, and like also like it's cool. It's like it's also cool when you have scenes where like his web shooters jam up or something happens, and then he has to like improvise on the fly. And so I was like, in my opinion, I was like, I didn't want them to take that away, especially since we just got him in that suit with the web shooters, and they don't take him away as soon as he gets organic webbing. But like, yeah, we get him getting organic webbing. He starts to get even like when he gets the organic webbing and everything, he literally like, because my theory is that like he was basically, before I watched the movie, is that like he's turning into man spider or like whatever, because we get shots of him like fighting the Scorpion, and like he's just freaking organic webbing thing like comes over him, and his eyes go black and everything, and he starts fighting the Scorpion, and he just freaking just goes like absolutely ham on him. He almost, like Peter almost accidentally kills like a cop because he just freaking slams Scorpion into a police car. And so I was like, okay, where are they going with this necessarily with him getting organic webbing? Is this going to be a permanent thing? Is this like how he's gonna be able to shoot out webs and everything, because he can't control it, and so he's trying to find a way to control it. And by the end of the movie, I mean, he does end up controlling it, but like in my opinion, I don't know, it was weird because yeah, he's like super like he's getting these organic weapons, and by the end of the movie he's able to like control it and everything. But like when that happens, like he doesn't become like a man spider. I guess he just gets like a power up or something, or it's something to where like he just gets stronger, because like literally the ending scene with the hand, when he's fighting the hand, and he's able to control it and everything. It is like he is just basically like super strong. Like it's literally like he has like the symbiote or like something. Like, and I don't know if I don't know. It's weird because he already has this power, and so if he does get the symbiote later on, like he's gonna be even more powerful, I guess. I don't know how that's gonna work necessarily, but yeah, just talking about that ending scene with the hand versus Spider-Man. That scene was so cool, bro. That freaking scene where like I think it was like Jean Grey, she was like, who are you? Are you Spider-Man or are you Peter Parker? And then and then, and then Spider-Man and then Spider-Man says, I'm both. And like and then he's able to control the freaking power and everything, and then he just goes absolutely ham on the freaking hand and everything. And it was cool seeing the hand in this movie. I thought the hand was gonna play a major, like a way more major part in this movie. By the end of this movie, I mean, in the movie they're like just working for damage control for some reason. I don't know why, but like by the end of the movie, they're just being mind controlled by Jean Grey, and so that's why they're fighting Spider-Man by the end of the movie. But it was still a cool scene to see Spider-Man versus the hand. The choreography, the freaking action, I think in this movie is pretty good, but especially in that scene where like he's fighting the hand and everything. That one scene where like he's fighting damage control, I thought was like really cool. The choreography that they were doing with like the stunts and like him and the web shooters and everything. I thought it was really good as well, and so overall I really enjoyed that. But yeah, then we get the freaking, after everything is said and done, after he Spider-Man is able to take out the hand and everything and get to Jean Grey, because Jean Grey is like in this like freaking prison box thing and everything, and we find out in that scene with like when damage control has her captured and everything. Like we find out that like that's where her sister died and everything, and so that's when she starts to freak out and freaking just absolutely just destroy everything. And after Spider-Man fights the hand, he's able to get to her, and this is where like I thought this was like another good emotional part of the movie, because I think throughout the movie we get hints of like Peter having like these flashbacks, I guess, or like these memories of him talking to, well, I guess it's when like Jean Grey's entering Spider-Man's mind and everything, and so she sees like these flashbacks. But it is like a scene of Spider-Man and Aunt May having like this conversation together, and we only get snippets of it throughout the movie, but it's not until like the end of the actual movie to where like we get Jean Grey entering Spider-Man's mind for one last time, and we get a scene with Aunt May in this movie. And basically Aunt May, I guess in this, like, technically it's like a memory, and so Aunt May is giving technically this speech to Peter, and she's talking about how, like, you know, even though you're different, even though, you know, you're special and everything, you're still a good person, and people love you, essentially. That's like the main gist of it. But that same speech that she was giving Peter, in that moment, Aunt May is giving that speech to Jean Grey, essentially. And so I just thought that scene emotionally was really good. It was cool to see Marissa Tomei again as Aunt May, even though she's technically dead. It was still good. It was still cool to like see her in some shape or capacity giving like a little speech to Jean Grey, basically to motivate her to be a good person, essentially. And so I thought that was like a good a little emotional part and everything. But then we get a scene of, and this is when the Punisher, you know, shows back up, because we've gotten, you know, the Punisher was fighting the Hulk with Spider-Man and everything. But in this part of the movie, The Punisher was just like, okay, yeah, I gotta kill Jean. I gotta kill Jean Grey. Like literally, half the city is being mind controlled or frozen by this chick right now, and like I don't know if Spider-Man's gonna be able to stop her. And so I'm just gonna like get up on this rooftop and get like in a sniper get up in like a sniper position and start to like. He's basically trying to kill Jean Grey in this moment because he doesn't know like what's gonna happen, and so like if anything bad happens, he's just gonna end up killing Jean Grey in this moment, which is a typical Punisher thing to do. But like in that moment, obviously Peter is able to calm down Jean Grey and everything, but Punisher doesn't know, so like he just ends up shooting at Jean anyway. And so Spider-Man, obviously, being the the superhero that he is, obviously he takes the bullet for Jean, and so it looked like Peter was gonna die, essentially. But basically, after that whole ordeal, obviously Punisher feels bad for what happens, and so there's a scene where Frank takes Peter to the hospital and everything, and we get the iconic shot of him holding or the Punisher holding Spider-Man in his arms and everything, and him taking him to the hospital. So I thought that was like a cool little like nod to the comic books. But then we get Peter wakes up and everything, and the reason why Peter didn't die essentially is because I think someone explained that Jean Grey like was basically keeping Peter alive that whole entire time, so that's why he didn't die or something. And so I mean that makes sense. But yeah, we get a scene of Peter waking up and Frank is with him, beside him and everything, and we get a scene of Frank taking a nap, which is is actually funny because I heard John Berthel, he doesn't actually like taking naps, and so it's actually funny that he was dude was taking a nap in that moment. But yeah, Peter wakes up, and Frank and Peter, they have like a little good heart-to-heart moment, and I just hope we get more scene, or we get more like, I don't know, necessarily movies. I don't know what they're gonna do after this, like in terms of like what characters or what other street level characters will show up in, I don't know, Spider-Man movies. I mean, Tom Holland said that he wanted to show up in like an R-rated Punisher show or something like that, but I don't know if Disney is gonna allow that. I would like to see that. But yeah, I mean, Peter wakes up. And then Frank is like, okay, so I have a plan, right? And Frank is like, I have a plan. I'm gonna get you out of here so you can not, your identity cannot get revealed or anything, so you can leave the hospital, like whatever. And so we get a scene of Spider-Man leaving the hospital, and everyone is in like, everyone's sad because they think Spider-Man's going to die, and so everyone's like dressed up as Spider-Man. They're literally like, they got like signs saying "We love you, Spider-Man" and everything. And we get a scene of like, as Peter's leaving the hospital and everything, we can just get a scene of like Frank in the hospital room with we just see him through the window, and he's just got the Spider-Man mask and everything on. And I was like, bro, that junk. That was so funny. Like, there's a scene where he's got the Spider-Man mask, and he's like at the window. He was like, I thought that part was so funny. But I thought it was funny. But I also thought it was like sweet at the same time, because like, he's trying to like make up for the fact that he shot at Spider-Man and everything. And so I thought that scene was sweet and everything. But as Peter is leaving the hospital, like I said, everyone is like, in Spider-Man costumes and everything, and they're like, celebrating Spider-Man and everything. But yeah, we just get a scene of, Frank is obviously, they think the person at the window is Spider-Man, so everyone's just happy to see that Spider-Man is alive and well, but they don't know literally that one of the people that's outside with them is Spider-Man. So we just get a scene of Peter reacting to everyone being so happy and everything, and we get a scene of like this little kid. He's got like a little Spidey like onesie on, and he does the little like Spider-Man thwip thing that you do with your hands, and he does it at Peter, and Peter does the same thing at him. And I thought that scene was really sweet. Just that scene of everyone celebrating Spider-Man in that moment, and Peter is just like taking it all in, that like people do appreciate what Spider-Man does for the city and everything, and so I just thought that scene was really good. But yeah, dude, but after all of that is said and done, we get the ending scene, and there's so many gorgeous shots in this movie. We get the scene of just like New York City in general, and like the freaking sunset freaking lighting in the background, the backdrop of New York City. We get a scene of like Spider-Man on top of a freaking building. My man got the Vans on. Listen, he this okay, I don't know if I necessarily want to talk about this, but like, is this the best Spider-Man like compared to Tobey Maguire and like Andrew Garfield? A lot of people have been saying that recently, that the like after this movie, this is like the best live action version of Spider-Man. And it's hard, because I do think this version of Spider-Man, I think at this point has passed like Andrew Garfield at this point. I feel like we can all agree with that. Tobey Maguire is still like a it's still hard, because you still have people that are like, that glaze the freak out of Tobey Maguire, literally no matter what, no matter what. And so I feel like you're never gonna like, because he was the first like live action interpretation of this character, so there's always going to be people who have a soft spot for that version, literally no matter what. And I get that. I mean literally one of his movies are like one of my favorite Spider-Man movies just in general, and so like I totally understand that. But like at this point, I think I can definitively say like this is the most like, I mean, this version of Spider-Man, I mean, I guess Tom Holland's been Spider-Man for literally what, like 10 years, and so like we've gotten so many like different stories and different things that have happened with this Spider-Man in general, that like I do feel like at this point this is the Spider-Man that like I'm probably the most attached to at this point. And if they make even more movies at this point, like and they can be just as good as like this one, and I heard they want to introduce Miles, then yeah, I feel like at some point this Tom Holland Spider-Man can very well go on to be like the definitive live action version of this character. Like I have no doubt about that. It's just in terms of like, after this movie, can they like make more good Spider-Man movies with this version of the character? I don't know, but I mean, it seems like, especially with the director that they had for this, and Tom Holland being able to put actually input into like what he wanted for this or what he wanted this movie to actually be and everything. I think we're in good hands in terms of like future Spider-Man movies and everything. Yeah, is it like, I mean, he was in that scene, like he was like wearing Vans and everything, and I was like, my favorite shoes are Vans too, and so like I mean, respect. I mean, honestly, respect to that. You know what I mean? I don't know, but it's stupid. But it's cool that this version of Spider-Man does wear Vans, and my favorite shoes are Vans. I guess that's just a random literally thing. That's literally a random thought that I had. It's not important, but like, I don't know. But yeah, we get the ending scene of Spider-Man, and we get a scene of MJ at the end as well, and she's like on the same rooftop. I think she was on like the rooftop where like Ned and Peter and her used to hang out, like at the high school, and she's like holding this I think it's called the Black Medallia, or some necklace that Peter gave her at like in one of the other movies. She's holding that necklace, and so it's been said, and I didn't really figure this out until after I watched the movie, that Jean Grey, obviously she's able to go into people's minds and everything and control them, but she's also able, I think she's able to like, if a person's memories are blocked or like whatever, she's able to like bypass them, and like she's able to have people remember stuff that they couldn't remember, I guess, or like whatever. And so I'm assuming that's what's happening with MJ and Ned, because literally the last scene of this movie is Peter going into like some place and Ned is there, and by this point Peter at this point is willing to try and reconnect, I guess, with like MJ and Ned and everything, and so when he goes up to Ned, he does like the little handshake, the freaking, I don't know, it's some like secret handshake that they have in the other movies. He goes to do it in this movie, and like Ned is actually able to follow through and like do it as well. And then after that, he's like, Peter? And so I guess in that moment he remembers Peter, I guess at this point. And I was actually when I watched that part, I was like confused because I was like, well, how did he remember Peter just based off that one handshake, I guess? And like, and then afterwards, I read online that like it's probably because of Jean Grey and everything. And so what's happening to, or what happened to Ned in that scene is probably what's happening to MJ as well. And so I'm guessing in the sequel, they're both going to be able to remember who Peter is and everything. And so, um, yeah, I mean that definitely is interesting. Um, I don't know, for specifically for this movie, because I know they erase their memories and everything, and I do like the scene of like MJ not just like just magically remembering who Peter is and everything, and like she Loki kind of rejects him in that moment when Peter is like, hey, I love you and everything. And I thought that scene was handled very, very well and maturely. And I don't know, I kind of wanted it to be like, okay, I know, like, I want to be friends with these people and everything, and like technically, like, I don't know, like it would be nice and everything, but like I don't know. I thought by the end of the movie he was gonna be like, okay, even though I do want this, like I can't do this, and so even though like it still hurts, and I don't want to like I can't associate myself still with like MJ and Ned, and so I thought that was like the way that they were gonna go, but no. By the end of the movie, Ned basically remember, MJ probably is going to remember, and so I guess by the sequel they're all gonna be friends again. And so that is kind of, I don't know. I don't want to say disappointing, but I kind of just wish I kind of did just wish that like he was gonna be able to like, I don't know, go on and maybe make new friends, or like I don't know, but like I'm not necessarily against him, like I'm not against Ned and MJ showing back up again, but like I'm glad that they are doing it more of where like they're slowly starting to remember, and it's not just a thing where like they just remember magically or like whatever, and there's an actual reason with Jean Grey and everything, and so that's fine. But yeah, man, freaking that is like everything that happened in this in this movie essentially. But like overall, man, I really enjoyed this Spider-Man movie. Is it my favorite Spider-Man movie of all time? I think it's up there. If I was to say I don't know, in terms of live action Spider-Man movies, it's definitely up there for me. It's definitely above The Amazing Spider-Man, Amazing Spider-Man 2. It's definitely above, even though I have a soft spot for Homecoming. This as a Spider-Man movie I think is better than literally all three of the Tom Holland Spider-Man movies combined. Tobey Maguire, like, it's a little trickier because I still think Spider-Man 2 is like the penultimate. I don't even know if I use that word right. I just think it's like Spider-Man 2 with Tobey Maguire is such a classic Spider-Man solo story, and like it deals with such classic Spider-Man themes, and like it's just, Spider-Man 2 is like still like probably one of my favorite live action Spider-Man movies of all time. And obviously you still have Into the Spider-Verse, which is like one of the best Spider-Man movies of all time, Cross the Spider-Verse. And so I would probably rank it up there like somewhere underneath like all of those movies, but it's like probably like in the number 5 or number 4 spot, I guess. I really enjoyed this movie. If I was to give it a score, I would probably give it like an 8 out of 10. Yeah, I would probably give it like an 8 out of 10. I didn't think it was perfect. I thought there was like some things, I don't know, like I guess in terms of like, I don't know. I can't really necessarily put my finger on it, but yeah, I'm sitting at an 8 out of 10 right now. I think this movie is really good, and it has a lot of classic Spider-Man elements in it. Yeah, there may be too many villains, maybe, but that didn't really I didn't really like, that didn't really bother me, I guess. But I guess like the stuff with the organic webbings, even though like I enjoyed those moments of him getting organic webbing, I do think it's gonna be fascinating to see how that plays into like him getting the symbiote, because if anything, this just seems like the symbiote, but without the freaking, obviously the suit and the black goo and everything, because like he's able to get stronger and everything, but like I don't know, I just don't know how that's gonna tie in. Like, is he just gonna get, I don't know how that's gonna work, but But yeah, man, those were my thoughts and opinions on Spider-Man Brand New Day. I have no idea how long this video is. It's probably super freaking long, and I didn't mean it to be this long, but here we are. But yeah, I just wanted to get all my thoughts and opinions out and everything. And so, yeah, man, leave down in the comment sections below what you thought of Spider-Man Brand New Day. Did you go see it? And if you did you enjoy the movie? Did you not enjoy the movie? Leave down your thoughts and opinions down in the comment sections below. And yeah, man, I'm gonna go ahead and get out of here, and I will see you guys on the next one. So yeah, bye.